If you asked a photographer how to make money 10 years ago, the answer was easy. You shoot weddings, you shoot portraits, maybe you shoot some commercial work here and there. But in 2026, that's no longer how things work. Today, the photographers that are doing the best, at least financially, usually are not relying on one single income stream anymore. They're stacking 3 to 4, sometimes even 6 different ones all together. And the goal isn't to do everything. The goal is to combine the right few together. In this video, I'm going to show you which income streams still work, which ones are fading away, and which ones I would focus on if I were starting from scratch all over today. Not a very long time ago, photographers would get hired because they owned gear that other people simply didn't have access to. But now everyone has access to cameras, even if it's just your phone camera, and there are professional photographers out there who get paid to shoot weddings with just their phone cameras, which is kind of crazy. 10 years ago, photographers got hired because they owned the gear, but today they get hired because they own the attention. It's the attention economy. So instead of having one large client pipeline, there are now more photographers earning through smaller but multiple income streams. Client work. Client work still exists and it still works, but it has changed. Today's successful photographers typically specialize instead of being the jack of all trades. So you have people who only do real estate photography, who only do product photography, who only do events, who only do headshots, only do music videos, only do weddings. That's not to say that there aren't a few out there that do a couple of different things, but if you are starting out and you are trying to do everything, that can be a mistake. Specialization builds trust very quickly, it builds your confidence, and trust shortens the amount of time between someone finding you online or in person and actually hiring you. I have a friend who owns a production company, and I've worked with him on countless corporate interviews, commercials, music videos, and the work has been steady and growing for him over the last couple of years. He spends a lot of money on Google Ads, and it's constantly getting him high-paying jobs. You do have to be quite good at managing people and long-term projects, and it takes some fearless grit to pull it off, but he has turned it into a career in just under 3 years. And while the music videos are the most fun to shoot, the boring corporate interviews are really the core of the revenue, at least in his business. YouTube. This didn't exist 15 years ago, and it's a big opportunity. This can be used primarily as educational videos, but it could also just be entertainment videos where you take people and you give them a taste of what you do and how you do it. I think that a lot of people overthink YouTube and set these excuses of, well, when I get better, I'll make a channel, or when I get more gear, or when I get more space, or some better microphones, or when I come up with a brilliant idea. And you don't really need any of that. There is a high likelihood that if you have been practicing photography, even for just, let's say, a year, and you know something that could help someone else, even if it's a basic tip, a workflow, a trick that you picked up, and if you don't have one of those, you can share the failures and you'll probably get, I don't know, even more views. I encourage everyone I meet to start YouTube channels. I know that it's tough, but if you can keep going after your first 50 videos that get almost no views, eventually it will pay off. And I think if you don't think you can come up with ideas, the comment section will generate more ideas than you'll know what to do with. And that's not to say that YouTube is fast money. It isn't. It's slow leverage, I would say, and that leverage does compound over time. But once it starts working, it supports everything else that you do. And speaking from experience, YouTube has changed my life in many ways. Now, something that does not get talked about much is when you start making money with photography, whether it's client work, whether it's YouTube revenue, or the other streams that I'll talk about here shortly, things like taxes, liability, and compliance suddenly matter a whole lot more. That's where today's sponsor, Doula, comes in. If you are starting to take photography seriously, one of the smartest early steps you can take is setting up an LLC. An LLC separates your personal finances from your business finances, which helps protect your personal assets and makes things like opening a business bank account and managing taxes way, way easier. Starting a business can feel overwhelming, and that's exactly what Doula is designed to solve. They are a business in a box platform that helps you form an LLC, get an EIN, set up bookkeeping, handle compliance paperwork, and stay on top of tax filings. Setting up an LLC is only step one. The compliance part is the one that most people don't realize that it matters. Doula's premium plan includes human bookkeeping support and compliance help, so you don't have to try to figure out all of that yourself. If you are thinking about turning photography into a real business, or you already have but want to get organized and structured in the proper way, check out the link down in the description and use my code for 10% off. It's risk-free with Doula's money-back guarantee, and you can even book a free demo if you want someone to walk you through how the entire process and everything works. That's really the place that I would start. Book a demo. It's free, no obligation, and see if it is right for you. Check it out down below. Affiliate income. If you pull up any camera YouTube channel description or a description in one of their videos, you'll likely see a bunch of links to the gear that they use. If you've ever wondered why people use links, it's because companies such as Amazon will give a small commission to people for sending traffic and driving sales on their website. Now, what's good about affiliate links is the people using your links are not paying anymore. As an example, Amazon charges sellers in most categories an 8% affiliate fee, and if someone buys the product with no affiliate link used, then Amazon just keeps the entire 8%. If an affiliate link is used, they split that 8% commission with the person who referred the sales. So basically, affiliate links, you are only taking money that Amazon would have kept anyway and giving half of it to a creator in this example. It's a great way to support YouTube creators. And as you can imagine, after growing a large audience on YouTube, or whether it's Instagram or TikTok, or even if you have your own website, let's say a la Ken Rockwell, those links really start to become long-term assets. That's the beauty of using them. Digital products. I think the get-rich gurus came up with these first. It was Tai Lopez here in my garage with my Lambo and books. And unfortunately, some digital products such as courses have earned a bad reputation over the years. I will not deny that there are a lot of scam courses out there, people making up the amount of money that they are making to try to sell you on a course. However, there are a lot of examples of honest, good, worthwhile courses out there as well. So if someone is trying to learn a skill, perhaps the fastest way to learn that is through a well put together, organized, and practical course. But beyond that, you can sell almost anything. Presets are very popular, LUTs, editing tutorials, lighting guides, even checklists and client contracts, things that solve problems and save people time. Make them helpful. Be honest. I don't have any digital products, and perhaps that is a missed opportunity. Let me know down below if I should be doing something with this channel. But digital products work best when they solve a very specific problem that you have already solved for yourself. Brand partnerships. Brand deals are huge now. In my own business, I have seen brand deals go from being 0% of my income to being 60% of my income in the last 5 years or so. And importantly, that didn't happen because the channel got huge overnight, but it happened because trust, just like YouTube, compounds over time. And you have to be very careful with brands, I will admit that, because if you make a bad move and you lose the trust of your audience, you'll have nothing. Now, what this looks like usually is you will have an agent connect you with brands and set up an integration such as what you just saw with Doula. The agent takes a commission and then you get paid the remainder. However, brands can also reach out to you directly. Once you have an audience on any platform, the emails will come piling in. I get about a dozen a day, and I say no to honestly about 98% of them. Here is a good example. I got a request to review one of these, which is a $3,000 mobility scooter. I don't know how in the world I would do that, and do I want one of these in my house? No. Even if you have a smaller channel with a small audience that trusts you and you work with a brand that is trustworthy, it can become a beneficial relationship with photographers. Companies are also getting people who understand how to create video, how to frame, how to tell a story about a product. As your audience grows big, these deals can be 5, 10, 15, 25, or I've even heard of $100,000 for a single video. That being said, I want to reiterate that you need to stay truthful, you need to stay honest, and you need to remain trustworthy. There are examples of brands who push creators to do things that are not morally upright, and I will leave that thought right there. Stock licensing platform content. Now, this is one area I have the least amount of experience with. However, there are plenty of photographers out there who sell stock photos or videos, and now that's really transitioned into more of a licensing, or specifically a platform licensing model. So you can take something like a footage pack, a Lightroom preset pack, textures, overlays, fancy graphics, or even educational content, and you can sell it inside of specific marketplaces. Apart from digital asset marketplaces, you can take some templates and files and even go to a place like Etsy and sell it there. And that alone opens up a whole other world of customized photography and art and products, and the list goes on and on and on. Content creation for businesses. One of the biggest growth areas right now is content creation for businesses, and this is different than traditional commercial photography. Instead of some big shoot that you organize and you do over, let's say, every couple of months, companies need short videos, reels, product clips, behind the scenes videos, social media photos, really every week. So if you can find a client and have that client on a monthly contract, this can grow quite quickly, and the demand for that sort of work is higher than ever before. The economy's tough, things are competitive, and small businesses need to attract customers, they need to interest buyers, and they need to grow their brands. And photo and video really is perfect for that. So photographers who are doing the best, so to speak, right now are stacking income sources. It might look like a little bit of client work, some YouTube on the side, some affiliate links here or there, sell some LUTs, and do an occasional brand partnership. The result is usually more stable income than the alternative of trying to book a client for every single weekend that you're free and then booking up all your weekends. Though that does still work, it's important to mention that not every photographer needs all of these income streams either. Most only need maybe 1 or 2 or 3 of them working together. If you are new, if you are starting photography fresh, or if you are trying to build a business around your passion for photography, here is a practical plan. So number 1, specialize in one type of client work. Pick what you enjoy. You might have to try a few to find what you truly enjoy, but once you choose, stick with it. And you don't need to pick a perfect niche. You just need to actually pick one. Step 2, start documenting the process on a YouTube channel or some social media platform. People want to watch the journey, and going from 0 to something is always interesting, even for those people who have been through it before. Step 3, add affiliate links. With some programs, there will be a minimum follower requirement, but as soon as you hit that, add some links, even if it's just, here's my favorite camera, and here's my lens, and here's the flash that I love. And step 4, build a small digital product that solves a real problem. It doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be 38 hours of video. It doesn't need to cost $2,000 like the guru courses. You could make a checklist or some organizational strategy or an editing strategy. There's some problem that you will inevitably have along your journey of photography, and guaranteed there's probably someone out there that will pay you to solve that problem for them. Now, am I the perfect example of this? Absolutely not. I'll be honest, this has been a long journey for me. I worked at a bank for 11 years while running this channel on the side, and then I did financial advising, then I got into real estate, but I always did videos at least once per week, and I love every aspect of doing this, even down to the editing. People always ask me if they could edit for me, and eventually I might have to give that up, but I enjoy editing. The sense of accomplishment that you get when you finish a YouTube video, it feels good. And full transparency, even with over 200,000 subscribers, every other day I think, should I apply for a 9-to-5 corporate job? And that's not because my mother-in-law keeps bugging me about getting a real job. There are good months and then there are terrible months, and it's not easy. Running a business is a challenge, but it is rewarding, and if done correctly, can give you the time freedom that a lot of people are looking for. That's my motivation. I've got 3 small kids at home, and that changed what success meant for me. I want to spend as much time as I can with them to be the best father I can be for them. And even if that means I make less money than I can, let's say sitting in an office somewhere, the fact that I can do what I enjoy doing here in my house and spend so much more time with them, that's all worth it to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please check out Doula down below. Thank you for all of the support over the years. Stay tuned for more, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.